Every journey, all begin with just one.
One conversation.
One decision.
One risk.
One choice, no matter our age,
our background, our gender.
Every day, we all have the power to choose just one action that propels us forward.
It doesn't have to be large, and we don't need to have it all figured out.
Change can feel like a daunting task at times.
Yet each of us can, just one step at a time.
Our individual steps are different.
Yet what unites us
is the power to make that one choice.
One chance.
One risk.
One moment of courage.
Let the games begin.
And then, imagine the collective strength of our individual just ones as a united national FFA organization.
and the impact to our chapters, communities, agriculture, and the larger future. It truly is up to each one of us.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Today, who's ready?
Please rise as Emily Falk from the Atchison County FFA chapter sings our national anthem.
Was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? I'm hoping what I said could.
Hey everyone, my name's Claire McClellan and I'm a sophomore studying bakery science and management with a minor in Ag Econ in the College of Ag, and I'm just going to take you through a day in my life. Also, I was just going to give a little shout out to my little sister Kate and the Plainville FFA chapter. Woo-hoo, go Cards!
Give me a light, show me what I need. I know I'm blind, but I hear symphonies of your heartbeat.
Okay guys, so I'm headed to a coffee shop in Aggieville. After I got some lunch, I'm gonna go study for my microbiology lab exam and get some coffee. Okay, we're getting ready to take our micro lab exam. Hopefully it goes well. Hey guys, these are my friends.
Ag ambassadors.
Yeah,
That's us.
we're in the Green Science building.
I forgot to look beyond and see the other side.
Okay guys, I'm trying to get past the awkwardness of videoing my life. I'm walking home from class. I just had grain analysis techniques, learn about the composition and how to measure chemical components of grain. Super fun. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going out to go on a run. We will see how this goes. I'm currently running around City Park, probably getting a lot of good looks.
Hey guys, we're in Solomon. This is my friend Ashlyn. Oh, our drinks are here. Our drinks are here. Hi.
Now that's an understatement.
Okay, so I'm heading to an Ag Ambassador meeting. Ag Ambassadors is a group of students in the College of Ag that helps to recruit prospective students. And we go to a lot of fun things like the state fair, career fairs, just to inform people about the College of Ag and what we do. So I'm going to a cabinet officer meeting, and then we'll have a large meeting after that.
Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love. And I hate to see you waiting. Had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars, but I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Mama said, something for oddities, stranger cruises. Ain't ever wannabes, winning the novelties that don't ever change. We wanted everything, wanted everything. Stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Oh, stay up on that rise, stay up on that rise, never come down. Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated, all tied up, no more love, and I'd hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of me. So I got one more run, and it's gonna be a sight to see. Had to have high hopes for a living, shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Shooting for the stars when I couldn't make a killing. Didn't have a dime, but I always had a vision. Always had high hopes. Had to have high hopes for a living. Didn't know how, but I always had a feeling. I was gonna be that one in a million. Always had high hopes.
This morning, we are excited to have our winning Ritual Leadership Development Event team, the Inman FFA chapter, present our opening ceremonies.
The convention hall will come to order.
We are now holding the second session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Madam President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door, past many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times, that they are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the president in maintaining order.
The Reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to the Virgin Islands and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed at the Emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises. I hope that my advice will always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep a plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Madam President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce that at this, the second session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention, there are 1,633 members, advisors, and guests registered. Madam President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this session duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented.
Congratulations and great job, Inman. Now, this session's chair definitely is taking advantage of the trend with dad jokes coming back. His humor might make you gag, but his salted caramel cookie bars might make things quite a bit better. Whether he's modeling for Shop FFA on the Style Squad or working with the dogs of KSDS, he's usually got a lot on his plate and handles it with a servant's heart. He's social, energetic, and extremely detail-oriented, and sometimes pretty funny. Join me in welcoming this session's chair, your 2018-2019 Kansas FFA Secretary Skylar Zenger.
Good morning, Kansas FFA members and guests. Please join me in another round of applause for the Inman FFA chapter for their outstanding performance in this morning's ritual ceremonies. If there is one thing I could do for the rest of my life, it would be to travel. You can ask my mom and dad. I am always looking forward to the next big adventure. It could be a trip down the road to my grandparents' house, or maybe it's a trip across the globe. This world we live on is just so big, with so many sights, sounds, and yeah, even smells to be experienced. I know I won't be able to visit everywhere before my time comes, but it would be a shame not to experience all this world has to offer while it's available to us. There are certain lessons learned and knowledge gained during our travels that leave us changed forever. Traveling to leadership in the Southwest in Hugoton, I learned that no amount of distance can diminish our passion for this organization. While traveling to Girard's Green Hand Recognition Night, I learned that no matter how hard it rains, nothing can wash away the good work we leave behind. While traveling to South Africa, I learned that even in the most unfamiliar of places, we can find a little bit of ourselves wherever we go. During this second session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention, we will have the opportunity to meet those individuals who hope to leave behind an impression wherever they go as we meet the 2019-2020 Kansas FFA officer candidates. Kansas Farm Bureau is also here to present some community grants, and we will recognize those chapters serving their hometowns in the Building Communities area of the National Chapter Award. Your 2018-2019 State Sentinel, Garrett Craig, will offer some wisdom he's gained during his travels by delivering his retiring address. We will also take the time to recognize those members who have spent the time in research and recognize the informed travelers in the Leadership Information Competition and the KAAE Essay Awards. We will also celebrate our agricultural educators in the KACTE and KAAE Awards. We will recognize those members who will be receiving SAE grants this year. Here to offer some golden advice she has gained during her adventures is the 2018-2019 National FFA Secretary, Lainey LeBlanc. Finally, we will meet some members who know a thing or two because they have seen a thing or two through their outstanding supervised agricultural experiences in the first half of our proficiency pageant. Let's get ready for all the sights, sounds, and experiences offered during this second session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention.
Just one chance, just one moment, change the course, it's time we show it, raise our voice.
One of the most exciting parts of traveling is the people we go with. Picking a traveling partner is a big deal. You have to make sure that your snack choices are the same, your taste of music must be similar, and your bathroom schedules are synced. Once you have a list of candidates that fit the bill, then it's time to call them up for the adventure of a lifetime. Our next guests have answered the call and shown up in their best corduroy and black shoes. They have spent the last few days answering interview questions, giving speeches, facilitating workshops, and testing their knowledge of agriculture in order to serve Kansas FFA members for the next year. Their time in FFA as members has prepared them to serve our association. Please help me welcome this year's Kansas FFA officer candidates to the stage.
In Kansas FFA, my name is Bryce Atchison from the Tonganoxie FFA chapter, and I hope you guys enjoy your rest of the convention.
I'm Kaylee Cook from the Skyline FFA chapter, and I also hope you guys have a great rest of your convention.
Hi, I'm Rihanna Dunlap, proudly representing the South Barber FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is Logan Elliott, and I am proudly representing the Southeast District and the Riverton FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is Abby Goins from the Labette County FFA chapter. Go Cats!
Hello, everyone. My name is Maddie Martin, and I'm from the South Central FFA chapter.
Greetings, Kansas FFA. I'm Curtis Niehaus, and I'm proud to represent the Jackson Heights FFA chapter.
Hello everyone, I'm Mason Prester, and I'm proudly representing the Wilson FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is Lucas Sebesta, proudly representing the Ellsworth FFA chapter.
Good morning. I am Hunter Smith, proudly representing the Chaparral FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. I'm Courtney Van Dong, and I am proudly representing the Holton FFA chapter.
Good morning, Kansas FFA. My name is J.W. Wells, proudly representing the Sedan FFA chapter in the Southeast District. Thank you.
What's up, Kansas FFA? I am Elizabeth Wright from the Blue Valley FFA chapter.
Thank you once again for the dedication you have shown to the Kansas FFA Association as you all live to serve just 1 year as a Kansas FFA officer. We wish you all the best of luck. A trend I noticed during my time traveling Kansas this past year has been how well kept the towns I've visited have been. Gorgeous community gardens, historic markers, and unique downtown areas have all been impressive and had me wanting to move in as soon as possible just to be a part of that community. These communities have a feel to them that only the people who live there understand, and as an outsider looking in, I wanted to be a part of it. Fortunately, Farm Bureau provides an opportunity for everyone to be a part of the agricultural family. Farm Bureau is an advocate for the agricultural industry and works to build communities in rural America. FFA chapters also work to build communities, and with the help of Kansas Farm Bureau, this is possible. Each year, Kansas Farm Bureau provides support for those chapters who work closely on projects with their County Farm Bureau Association. This past year, 10 chapters were the recipients of the Kansas Farm Bureau Community Improvement $500 grants. The grants were awarded to chapters who promoted leadership, served their community, and advocated and educated on the behalf of production agriculture. As examples, the La Crosse FFA chapter turned a petting zoo event for elementary students into a day on the farm. FFA members built partnerships within the community and had numerous community resources assist with the event. Elementary students in attendance learned about the new hog facility in the county, dairy cattle, goats, soil, and technology. The Meridazine Valley FFA chapter put an elementary Ag Awareness Day. This activity consisted of 10 agriculturally related booths that students grades 3 through 5 rotated through to learn more about agriculture. FFA members gained valuable presenting skills during this activity. The Atchison County FFA chapter built raised garden boxes for their school district's outdoor learning campus. The outdoor learning campus provides an opportunity for students K through 12 to have a hands-on opportunity gardening. FFA members built collaborative partnerships with other schools, businesses, senior citizens, and other community members to have a successful project. Here to present these grants is the president of Kansas Farm Bureau, Mr. Rich Feltz. Mr. Vice President, will you please introduce those chapters who have received Kansas Farm Bureau community grants?
Farm Bureau grants are the Atchison County FFA chapter, the Inman FFA chapter, the Junction City FFA chapter, the La Crosse FFA chapter, the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter, the Skyline FFA chapter, the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter, the Valley Heights FFA chapter, and the Wellington FFA chapter. Let's give one more round of applause to the 2019 Kansas Farm Bureau grant winners.
Something I always found comforting while traveling is that feeling of being welcomed into a community. Almost everywhere you drive, fly, or bike to, you will see a big welcome sign. Just like the communities themselves, these signs are unique and usually represent a little of that community's style. Most places have a very strong sense of pride in where they come from and work hard to ensure that there is a welcoming atmosphere for those who might only get a glimpse of the place before moving on to their next destination. Sometimes the town is so well kept that travelers cannot help but stop to appreciate the sights, sounds, and sense of home that some communities offer. Our next presentation is the Building Communities area of the National Chapter Award. In this area, chapters focus on improving their home areas by investing time and effort in developing programs, remodeling community areas, and cultivating a sense of pride in where they come from. The awards presented are made possible by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. Mr. Vice President, please read the names of the chapters who have created a culture of comfort in their hometowns through the Building Communities area of the National Chapter Award.
In the Bronze Division, the Altoona Midway FFA chapter, the Fowler FFA chapter, the Junction City FFA chapter, the Republic County FFA chapter, the Rossville FFA chapter, the Russell FFA chapter, the Stanton County FFA chapter, the Wamego FFA chapter. Join me in congratulating those chapters in the Bronze Division. In the Silver Division, the Blue Valley FFA chapter, the Burlington FFA chapter, the Central FFA chapter, the Center FFA chapter, the Chetopa FFA chapter, the Fairfield FFA chapter, the Fort Scott FFA chapter, the Haven FFA chapter, and the Hayes FFA chapter. Let's show our appreciation one more time for our Silver Division winners. Please direct your attention to the screen to see the highlights of the chapters in the Gold Division. And now for the chapters in the Gold Division. In the National Chapter Award in the area of building communities, in 21st place is the Inman FFA chapter. Earning 20th place is the Elk Valley FFA chapter. Placing 19th is the Caney FFA chapter. In 18th place is the Beloit FFA chapter. In 17th place is the Clay Center FFA chapter. In 16th place is the Girard FFA chapter. Placing 15th is the Southeast of Saline FFA chapter. In 14th place is the Sedan FFA chapter. Earning 13th is the Chaparral FFA chapter. Receiving 12th place honors is the Spring Hill FFA chapter. In 11th place is the Mission Valley FFA chapter. Placing 10th is the Holton FFA chapter. In 9th place, the Chapman FFA chapter. Earning 8th place is the Udall FFA chapter. Receiving 7th place is the Riverton FFA chapter. In 6th place, the Buhler FFA chapter. Placing 5th is the Ellsworth FFA chapter. Earning 4th place, the Southwestern Heights FFA chapter. In 3rd place, the Clifton Clyde FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Royal Valley FFA chapter. And the winner of the National Chapter Award in Building Communities is the Arkansas City FFA chapter. Let's recognize these chapters once again as they exit the stage. Please direct your attention to the screen as we highlight the winning chapter in the area of building communities.
The Arkansas City FFA chapter is this year's winner of the National Chapter Award in the area of building communities. To provide community members with more outdoor activity options, the Arkansas City FFA chapter applied for and received a Living to Serve grant from the National FFA organization to create baskets for a disc golf course. Chapter members also collaborated with city officials to plan the 18-hole course that will be installed this summer. The Arkansas City FFA chapter also made a plan to help beautify large planting containers in downtown areas by transplanting, propagating, and researching various succulents. FFA members gained experience in working with succulent plants, and the city benefited from their hard work and dedication to making the downtown area more beautiful. In response to the devastating wildfires in California in 2018, Arkansas City FFA members organized the California Wildfire Relief Drive. The relief drive included gathering donations for t-shirts for California FFA members who lost their homes and farms, as well as collecting monetary donations from Arkansas City FFA members and 17 other chapters in the South Central District. The Arkansas City FFA chapter has 68 members, and the advisors are Casey Bogart, Josie Riley, and Jacob Sumter. Congratulations to the Arkansas City FFA chapter, the winner of the National Chapter Award in the area of building communities.
Kansas FFA members and guests, please help me in welcoming Owen and Madison Craig to the stage for a special introduction.
Hello, I'm Owen.
Hello, I'm Maddie, and we are Garrett's wonderful younger siblings. Growing up with Garrett was an experience. Garrett never failed to make life interesting. Garrett works hard no matter what and never gives up. He always puts forth 100% effort for anything he takes on. Whether it's singing, FFA, or football, he jumps 2 feet in.
One of Garrett's greatest passions besides FFA is singing. He was the lead role in the high school production of Footloose. He could have gone by the general high school cliques and not even tried out. But Garrett didn't care if people thought he wasn't cool if he was in the school musical. In fact, he actually was a role model in that way. People saw that it was okay to try new things and followed after Garrett.
Garrett is always out on the farm helping our grandparents. I'm not sure if hanging around them sparked this inside Garrett or what, but Garrett is the only 18-year-old I know that is friends with more 70-year-olds than an actual 70-year-old. And this past year, seeing all that Garrett has done to turn his dream into a reality and to see how much he has accomplished, we couldn't be more proud of him. Please help us welcome to the stage our brother and your 2018-2019 Kansas FFA Sentinel, Garrett Craig.
But keep your heart above your head and your eyes wide open, so this world can find a way to leave you cold. You know you're not the only ship out on the ocean. Save your strength.
The doors on the bus would burst open, little feet would pound down the steps, race the quarter-mile down the road to where the tractor was, and with all the strength the kid could muster, 5-year-old me would hoist myself up on the tractor with Grandpa, and that's that same question kids on farms everywhere are asking. Can I ride along? Those hours spent on the tractor, talking about cows and crops, are all valuable childhood memories. Looking back, I can see just how much my early exposure to the farm helped shape my passion for agriculture. Later in life, it provided me with a supervised agricultural experience for FFA. I have had so many experiences on the farm, but they're not always sunshine and roses. Take, for example, a day this past summer. It was June 11th, 2018, a day that for me will live in infamy. I woke up ready to meet the day's activities. There was hay to bale and wheat to cut. I went to go bale hay. Within 5 minutes of being in the tractor, I plugged the baler. After an hour of what felt like pulling out hay piece by piece, I finally got going again. Mistake number 1. It's fine, no big deal. I handled it. Later that afternoon, while still baling hay, I pulled out my phone to a text from my mom reminding me about a school board meeting I said I would attend. And I was late. I raced into town, pulled up to the board office, just to find the meeting had gotten over. That was stupid. How could I have forgotten to do that? Mistake number 2. It's fine. It is what it is. I got back from town and started cutting wheat. Eventually, the combine got full, so I unloaded it onto the truck. It was getting dark, and my grandparents came out to tell me that I didn't have to keep going, but I insisted. Now, before she left, my grandma thought she could hear a funny clicking sound coming from the combine. I didn't think too much about it. I swung the auger away, and off I went. I went one round, looked back through the window to see how much wheat had come in, but I couldn't see any. Now, I remember thinking that, yes, there should have been some, but it was dusty and a bad year for wheat, and I didn't really want to stop, so maybe not. I went 3 more rounds before I checked again. When I looked back through the window, still no wheat. I got scared, so I jumped out to see what was wrong, and when I looked down into the bin where wheat should have been, I saw something that made my stomach drop. Those little augers that only turn when the unloading auger turns, they were moving. All of a sudden, I heard that funny clicking sound my grandma heard, and it was coming from the unloading auger. I was putting together the pieces in my head, but I didn't want to believe it. In my haste to get back to cutting, I had forgotten to shut off the unloading auger. Everything that had come into the combine for 4 rounds went right in and then right out the back. Mistake number 3, not okay. How could I have been so stupid? The day's events came flooding back to me. I couldn't bale hay without screwing up. I couldn't keep my schedule straight. I couldn't cut wheat without making a bad harvest worse. What would my grandparents say? I was supposed to be an FFA member who promoted agriculture. I was supposed to be a responsible, competent individual who wouldn't make stupid mistakes like those. I was ready to throw in the towel. The agricultural life had made itself perfectly clear. It obviously didn't want me. I felt absolutely worthless. I had a choice to make. I could either accept the fact that I screwed up and move on, or allow my mistake to turn into a barrier that I wouldn't get over. I thought about my life in agriculture and what my mistake meant. When I looked back on my passion for ag and all it had given me, FFA, a connection with where I come from, a desire to help people, I wasn't ready to give that up. My mistake meant that I was human. It didn't mean that I wasn't suited for a life in agriculture. It meant that I needed to slow down and not get in such a hurry. It meant that I had room to grow. On our journey towards fulfilling our passions, we will make mistakes. There will be stumbles. Failure is inevitable. Nikki Giovanni, an American poet and activist, said, "Mistakes are a fact of life. It is the response to the error that counts." Don't let mistakes define our capability and hold us back from pursuing our passions. Mistakes aren't anchors that hold us down in failure, but instead are a guiding light that show us where to go next. If we'll follow that light and fix what it shows us is wrong, then we can continue to grow and pursue our passions. Look around. We are all humans, and we have all ceased to be perfect since the dawn of man. Think about what an awful world it would be if our mistakes determined our potential. There'd be no light bulb, no telephone, no airplane. If Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and the Wright brothers allowed their screw-ups to determine what they were capable of, our world would look drastically different. But they were able to make a difference because they didn't let their failures stop them from pursuing their passions. Every time something goes wrong, we have a choice to make. We can either allow that failure to hold us down and limit us, or we can learn from it and let it go. We may have made a big mistake and lost the big game. We may have forgot to study for a test. We may have left the unloading auger on. We may have made those mistakes. But so what? What are our big mistakes? What mistakes keep us awake at night because they tell us we aren't good enough? Don't listen to that voice anymore. Silence the voice that screams out our inadequacies and listen to the voice that shouts out every reason why we should pursue our passions. Our passions are a part of our identity, and to give up on them cannot be an option. Right here, right now, in those auditorium seats, make a conscious decision to silence that voice. whenever it feels like nothing is going right. Remember the feeling we get when someone asks about our passions or when we have to defend them. Think about that one thing that sets us on fire. Don't sacrifice that feeling simply because of some screw-ups along the way. Remember that flame. Let go of the failure and move on. I went to a very small elementary school. At Longford Elementary, there were 31 students, kindergarten through 5th grade. When I was in the 3rd grade, we had to close because we were so small. I was devastated. I loved going to school where my family had before and where I had the freedom to learn how I wanted to learn. I was so disappointed. I just didn't understand. I wanted to know more. So I started learning about why people migrate from rural areas to urban areas. What makes small towns smaller and big cities bigger? I learned that exodus over time is why my school had to close and why so many Kansas communities face tough times. Now, I tried to talk about this with students at my new school, but as it turns out, not very many 5th graders are interested in rural migratory patterns. I got comments like, "Enough about Longford, Garrett," and "No one cares, Garrett." Those were tough words for me to accept. So I set about learning as much as I could, quietly and to myself. Even if no one else cared, I still did. Later in life, when I started understanding deeper concepts about what is called the rural flight, I realized that everything I'd ever learned about was going to happen to my high school class too. I started talking to people again, but this time with enthusiasm. I wanted to make sure that my class didn't just add to the statistics. Once again, not very many people seemed to care, but I was bound and determined to at least make them hear, even if they didn't want to listen. I was met with eye rolls and judgment because I cared so much. Was it discouraging? Sure. But I soon realized that I wasn't alone in feeling judged because I cared about something. We live in a culture where apathy runs wild. Apathy is a lack of feeling, emotion, concern, or interest. In society, not caring is cool. When someone works too hard at something or is too passionate about it, we call them tryhards. When someone gets too excited and cheers too loud at a basketball game, we say they're weird. When someone cares a lot and invests all their time and effort, we say they are too involved. Now, I'm guilty of both saying those things about people and having those things said about me. I wasn't supportive of others' passions and let what people say make me apprehensive and feel insecure for being passionate about something. But to make a difference in the world around us, we can't be scared to show our authentic selves that have a passion for something. We can't go throughout life being too cool to care. If we choose to live with an attitude of apathy and never pursue what we truly care about or support others in their pursuit, we're shorting the world of a contribution it really needs. To be happy with our lives, don't settle for the cool route. When we set aside the value of what people may say and focus on pursuing our passions, we can truly find happiness in the work of our day-to-day lives. Now, there will always be naysayers who roll their eyes when you challenge the status quo. But don't let them stop you in your pursuit of what you love. We have to let go of our reservations and spring into whatever it is wholeheartedly. Never be scared to have a burning passion for something, no matter what anyone may say. Life isn't about taking the fuel from our fire and having to put it on someone else's. Life is about finding our passions and making a difference so there's enough fuel for everyone's fire. Be the ones who cause the eye rolls because you yell just a little too loud. If someone's standing next to you cheering, ditch the attitude of apathy. Let go of what people may think. Stand up next to them and cheer too. Show others why something matters to you by pursuing it with determination. Now, there are people who don't think it's important for us to be gone from school for FFA. They don't see our determination for these blue jackets. But let them think what they want. We know the value in the blue and gold and won't be stopped from loving it. But what are you passionate about? But are scared to go after because you're worried what the world may say or how it will make you look? Whatever that thing is, stop being scared to let others know it is important to you. If you have something you're scared to show the world, chances are there are a million other people out there who feel the exact same way. If it matters to you, it is important. If it matters to them, it is important. Stop the eye rolls and the judgment from people who challenge the status quo with their passions. Today, tell the members of your chapter what you care about. Let the world know how you are going to make your mark. It doesn't have to be big. It could be something small, but whatever it is, stop being too cool to care. In our lives, we only have so much time to find a passion and make a difference. By letting our mistakes get in our way or choosing to be apathetic, we are withholding a crucial part of ourselves. We are withholding what we can give to the world. Now, we've all felt like we can never overcome our mistakes. We've all been scared to really care about something, but that can no longer be an option. Kansas FFA, don't let your fears and failures hold you back any longer. We can't forget our mistakes, but we have to learn from them. We can't live life with an attitude of apathy. Listen to the voice that says, you are good enough. Invest so much of yourself in something that when failure happens, it hurts. Take up those anchors that hold you back. Let go of the failure. Let go of the fear. Let go.
Today, I'm gonna stand out in the rain. Let it wash it all away. Yeah, wash it all away. I'm gonna let it go. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna let it go.
Garrett, your full heart and quick wit have always left us wondering what wild thing you're going to say next. Your dedication to your future plans, love for all things Dolly Parton, and deep pride in the town of Clay Center have always helped inspire us to care more deeply about the finer things in life. You've always kept us on our toes, even if you're the one that's fallen on the ground. It has been our absolute privilege to serve Kansas FFA members this year with you. Thank you for teaching us how to never settle for just okay. We are all better people because of you. Love always, Max, Michael, Skylar, Chrissy, and Miranda. Kansas FFA, your 2018-2019 State Sentinel, Garrett Craig. Please join me in welcoming a few people who have prepared Garrett for his service and given up their time with him so he could spend it with Kansas FFA members.
Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Young, and Mr. Folks, thank you for always being huge supporters of FFA and me throughout high school. Clay Center is lucky to have administrators like you who find value in agricultural education and in FFA. Because of your support, we were able to make an impact in our community, and for that, I am grateful. Kansas FFA, it is my honor to introduce my administration, Mr. Greg Ferguson, Mr. Bud Young, and Mr. Mike Folks. Mr. Bonnebless, Mr. Bine, Ms. Mattis, and Mr. Oderman. Mr. Bonnebless and Mr. Bine, it was truly an honor to have you as advisors, and I cannot tell you enough how much your support meant to me. Thanks for always giving me a hard time and remembering not to take myself too seriously. Ms. Mattis and Mr. Oderman, thank you for pushing me, even when I wanted to be done. When I chose to major in Ag Ed, I looked to you and saw a future that I wanted. Thank you again for everything you have done. Kansas FFA, it is my honor to introduce my advisors, Mr. Jay Bonneblust, Mr. Mike Bine, Ms. Andrea Mattis, and Mr. Joe Oderman. Mom and Dad, thank you for always being my safety net. I know I can always count on you to keep me grounded and organized. Thanks for all your love and support. Grandparents, thank you for always being a supportive hand, a shoulder to lean on, and an ear to listen. Maddie and Owen, you two are both incredibly talented, and I'm thankful that you will always be on my side of things, since you're obligated to as my siblings. I'm incredibly excited to see what the future holds for both of you. Kansas FFA, please help me in thanking my family and congratulating my parents, Brent and Erica Craig, as they are presented with their honorary state FFA degree.
Thank you for all you have done for Garrett and for allowing him to spend this past year with all of us. Please join me in one final round of applause for Garrett's administration, advisors, and family.
Just one chance, just one moment, change the course. It's time we show. Let's raise our voice.
As much as I love traveling, sometimes I just seem lost. Often, I don't know where to even start planning a trip, where I want to go, what I want to do, or even what to pack. There's also the bill that comes along with traveling anywhere. Luckily, there are people more experienced than me that know the ins and outs of packing, planning, and raising funds for trips. Whether it was traveling for FFA or for any reason, there are ways to gain more knowledge and dollars for the trip. My normal go-to is asking my parents for money and suggestions about what to bring with me. If I was smart, I would have simply asked for $20 every week leading up to the trip, but I feel like they would have caught on pretty quickly. So instead, I usually filled out scholarships or put on fundraising events through the organization I was traveling with. Fortunately for Kansas FFA, we have a group of inspiring individuals who work diligently to raise support for our adventures. These individuals dedicate their time and talents to help our members have the experiences they do while in our organization. Here to introduce the members of the Kansas FFA Foundation Board and present some exciting news is Mr. Greg Krisick.
Thank you, Skylar, for that introduction. The Kansas FFA Foundation is honored to be a partner with the Kansas FFA Association. The foundation exists to ensure that agricultural education and FFA programming have the financial support it needs to be viable. Each year, the foundation works to support career and leadership development events, proficiency awards, state conference for chapter leaders, the SCCL, SAE grants, Leader Lab, state convention, educator development, and many other programs. Quite a list. We partner with businesses and individuals who feel passionately about the future of agriculture and you, our Kansas FFA members. Our goal is to see you succeed in your personal and educational development. We're happy to work alongside you, and we know that FFA members today are leaders for tomorrow, and that membership in the Kansas FFA helps pave the way to this future. This past year, our efforts have been able to grow, and we brought new sponsors into Kansas FFA Foundation's family, allowing new opportunities for recognition and support. Our total annual gifts for this past year totaled $430,000, and we really thank those individuals and companies who have generously supported the foundation. One area for additional support for members is the $500 scholarship awarded to individuals who worked hard and achieved the honor of being the high individual in many of our career development events. When a state career development event is fully funded, the high individual is awarded a $500 scholarship to further their post-secondary education, and the high team is awarded $200 in travel scholarship per team member to assist in their national competition experience. We're really excited to announce that we're only $7,500 away from funding every CDEs at this level. Thank you to all who have participated. We hope ag teachers and FFA members alike find value in the Kansas FFA calendars that were delivered to classrooms to help them organize and plan their activities throughout this past year. Those calendars were made possible by the work and the support of the foundation and its sponsors. The Kansas FFA Foundation Board is made up of 25 individuals who care deeply about this organization, and I'd now like to have the Foundation Board of Trustees join me on the stage. The board is made up of people who strongly believe in the positive effects of the Kansas FFA program and want to ensure that future generations of FFA members have that opportunity to participate in these life-changing experiences. I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to share with those of you here in McCain specifically about one of our trustees. Jill Caston Downing, a past member of the Meridazine Valley FFA chapter, a past state officer, a past staff member of the National FFA organization, and a friend to many of us, lost her battle with cancer earlier this spring. She served for the past 5 years as a trustee. With her passing, our board meetings became a little less fun, a little less happy, a little less filled with the eternal FFA spirit. And there's no doubt we will miss her dreadfully. We all wear the boutonnieres today in Jill's honor. But because Jill was about all things FFA and the experiences and the friendships she gained because of her time in the FFA, Jill's family chose to include the Kansas FFA Foundation as the recipient of her memorial funds. And while it's not yet been determined how those dollars will be specifically allocated, you can be assured that the fantastic legacy of Jill Caston Downing and her love for the Kansas FFA will live on for years through the bright and shining faces of Kansas FFA members. We look forward to honoring her for years to come. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank a fine group of men and women who serve on the foundation. Serving as trustees this year are Jay Armstrong of Armstrong Farms, Chad Bontrager of Yoder Meats, Michael Burns of Landmark National Bank, Kurt Dillon, Kansas Department of Education, Kyle Esley, Fager, Baker & Daniels, Randy Golly, Steel and Pipe Supply Company, Sam Hands, Triangle H, Max Harmon, Kansas FFA Association President, Kim Harms, Harms Plainview Ranch, Kevin Harris, Harris Crop Insurance, Kelly Holting, Mission Valley High School, Lloyd James, Solomon Valley Bank, Mary Kane, Kansas FFA Association, Dana Ladner, Kansas Department of Agriculture, Melanie Mainquist, Land O'Lakes, Hallie Nett, Cargill, Jesse Smith, Kansas FFA alumni and TMA Grain, Mike Smith, Ag One Source, Carl Non-Stover, Ellsworth High School, John Ulmer, KSU Ag Education, Yancey Wright, John Deere. It's a great group of people to be able to work with and sincerely appreciate all their support and effort this year. Also would like to introduce our FFA Foundation Executive Director, Beth Gaines, who's with us today. In addition, joining the board later this year in 2019 will be Kevin Davis of Scott City and Volgamore Family Farms, and also Sharon Thielen of Kansas Corn. Thanks to each of you for your work on behalf of FFA members and ag education in Kansas. Thank you, trustees.
Mr. Krisick, thank you for providing various resources, advice, and mentorship that allow over 9,800 Kansas FFA members get the most out of their FFA experience. Your dedication and support to our organization and its members are inspiring. I would also like to take this time to thank both you and Ms. Melanie Mainquist for your service to our organization as you both stepped down from the Kansas FFA Foundation Board this year. Your years of service to our members and their recognition has always been inspiring, and I'd like to take the time now to present to you both these gifts of our appreciation. It is because of the great impact the Kansas FFA Foundation has on the recognition and experiences of our members that our team has decided to carry on the legacy left by previous teams and become two-star sponsors. Kansas FFA, please help me in thanking Mr. Krisick, Ms. Mainquist, and all of the Kansas FFA Foundation Board. Before taking off on a trip, it's usually helpful to do a little research on the locations. This is helpful in the planning process because then we have a good idea of the hot spots and interesting places to visit before the trip comes to an end. It can be interesting to understand some of the history of the places we are traveling to because it helps us feel like we are a part of their story as well. These next individuals have done their research of the story they belong to here in the Kansas FFA Association. They have poured through many different sources to understand more about our organization's rich history and have displayed their knowledge earlier this week. Mr. Vice President, please read the names of the individuals excelling in leadership information about our organization.
The top 10 placings in ranking order are: in 10th place, Hadley Hauser from the Norton FFA chapter. In 9th place, Becky Kropp from the Anderson County FFA chapter. In 8th place, Trevon Perry from the Uniontown FFA chapter. In 7th place, Hayden Schaff from the Uniontown FFA chapter. In 6th place, Veronica Biker from the Ellis FFA chapter. In 5th place, Dalen Piney from the Anderson County FFA chapter. In 4th place, Maddie Ard from the Uniontown FFA chapter. In 3rd place, Lane Fisher from the Ellis FFA chapter. In 2nd place, Isabel Bolig from the Ellis FFA chapter. And the winner of the Leadership Information Competition is Taylor Brines from the Girard FFA chapter. Let's give our recipients one more giant round of applause. After all of the individual scores were tabulated, top chapter scores were determined. The top 5 chapters in FFA information are: in 5th place, the Girard FFA chapter. In 4th place, the Holton FFA chapter. In 3rd place, the Anderson County FFA chapter. In 2nd place, the Ellis FFA chapter. And in 1st place, the Uniontown FFA chapter. Let's recognize these chapters and individuals once again for the knowledge that they possess.
Something I never quite understood growing up was that money, in fact, did not grow on trees. I was always quick to ask my parents for money, so it was a pretty rude awakening when I finally had some of my own. Then, whenever I asked, my parents would tell me, "Well, you have money now, don't you?" This is when I began to save my money like none other. However, when I began working with my supervised agricultural experience, I realized that sometimes you need to spend money to make money. These next members coming on stage have developed a passion for their own SAE and will continue to grow them through the help of funds provided by SAE grants. These awards are made possible by... These awards will not only allow the members to invest in their programs, but will also allow them to invest in their education. Mr. Vice President, please read the names of the FFA members receiving SAE grants this year.
FFA members receiving national grants are Brock Bergman from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Riley Olson from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Jocelyn Dvorak from the Hiawatha FFA chapter, Caleb Hink from the Mission Valley FFA chapter, Cassidy Chase from the Oxford FFA chapter. Please help me congratulate those members receiving national FFA SAE grants. Members receiving state SAE grants are Brant Boyle from the Beloit FFA chapter. The next group of recipients grants are sponsored by the Harris Crop Insurance and Harris Show Lambs. represented today by Kevin and Rosemarie Harris. Those recipients are Will Johnson from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Brooke Staten from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Brooklyn Zoeller from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, from the Chaparral FFA chapter, Addison Wilcox, from the Spring Hill FFA chapter, Alyssa Sharon, from the Southern Lyon County FFA chapter, Emma Miller, the next group of recipients grants are sponsored by Kansas Corn. Those recipients: from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Lola Spiker; from the Chitopa FFA chapter, Reagan Alsbaugh; from the Marysville FFA chapter, Angela Preble; from the Mission Valley FFA chapter, Robert Taylor; and from the Wabaunsee FFA chapter, Will Glossbach. The next group of recipients are sponsored by Kansas Soybean Commission. Those recipients are, from the Blue Valley FFA chapter, Bryce Holtzel, Logan Shanks; from the Center FFA chapter, Dylan Knepp; from the Mission Valley FFA chapter, Christopher Kane. The next recipient's grant is sponsored by Alan and Deanna Sens. The recipients for the SAE grant is Aiden Bartholomew from the Erie FFA chapter. Our final recipient's grant is sponsored by Mike and Mary Smith. The recipient of the SAE grant is Briley Kohler from the Chaparral FFA chapter. Join me in congratulating all of our SAE grant recipients.
When we go on trips, sometimes we make plans to go on guided tours. This is a time where we have the opportunity to be introduced to the unfamiliar world around us by professionals. We get inside information about the place we are visiting, advice on the good places to eat, and tips about where to visit next. Tour guides help make our adventures more impactful by clearing some of the confusion on where to go and what to do. We now have the opportunity to recognize some of those individuals who help guide us, support us, and advise us on where we should go and what we should do next throughout our adventures in the Kansas FFA Association. Mr. Vice President, please announce the individuals deserving recognition for their outstanding service as guides in our organization.
I am pleased to introduce the following educators. From the Blue Valley High School, Anthony Meals, the KAAE Outstanding Young Member of the Year. From the Clifton Clyde High School, Erica Harrisnape, from the KAAE Teacher Turn the Key. From Elk Valley High School, Chris Johnston, the KAAE Agri-Science Teacher of the Year. From Washington County High School, John Kern, the KAAE Outstanding Teacher of the Year. From Girard High School, Brandon Calloway, the KAAE Division winner of the KACTE New Teacher of the Year Award. From Columbus High School, Casey Youngblood, the KAAE Division winner of the KACTE Teacher of the Year. From the Royal Valley High School, Kim Clark, the KAAE Division winner of the KACTE Young Teacher of the Year. Let's show our appreciation to the outstanding agricultural education teachers in Kansas with one final round of applause.
While it's a good idea to research the history of an area before traveling there, it's also pretty smart to understand some of the current events of the area before arriving. This is a particularly good idea when traveling to areas of unrest, severe weather conditions, or with special events happening. These next members have also done their research on current events in agriculture prior to their adventure here to the 91st Kansas FFA Convention. Their ability to share their knowledge has earned them top honors in this year's Kansas Association of Agricultural Educators Essay Contest. Mr. Vice President, please introduce the members who have won top honors with their entries.
The finalists of the KAAE Essay Contest in ranking order are: in 5th place, Shannon O'Malley from the Burlington FFA chapter. In 4th place, Nick Reyes from the Wellington FFA chapter. In 3rd place, Kara Hayes from the Ellsworth FFA chapter. In 2nd place, Cassie Meyer from the Marion FFA chapter. And in 1st place, from the Burlington FFA chapter is Clay Rolfe. Let's give one more round of applause to the top KAAE Essay Award winners.
While it's fun to travel as part of a group, sometimes a solo adventure is necessary. When we get to travel on our own, we learn more about ourselves than we ever thought possible. The opportunity to travel alone usually brings out the best that is inside us as we interact with so many different people, places, and cultures. The exciting part is taking what we learned from one trip and using it to help others understand a little more about the world we live in. Our next speaker has had a similar opportunity of a solo adventure. Although she does get to travel quite a bit with her team, lately she's spent quite a bit of time traveling the nation and sharing the stories of FFA members all across the country. Please join me in welcoming the 2018-2019 National FFA Secretary, Lainey LeBlanc, as she delivers her keynote.
So picture this. I'm sitting on the floor of my middle school bedroom examining the Lego Hogwarts castle kit. Any Harry Potter fans in here? Quite a few. So my 2 younger brothers, Austin and Seth, are expert Lego builders. So I, being the obvious older sister that I am, wanted to prove to them that I too was an expert Lego builder. So I flip over the box, 6,000 pieces, no big deal, I've got this. I rip open the box, and the first thing that I see are the instructions. And now, if you're anything like me, the first thing that we do when we see instructions is throw those away because we won't be needing those anytime soon. That might have been my first mistake. How are you supposed to build something without instructions? But that didn't matter to me at the time. I confidently start putting the pieces together, and 3 whole hours later, I had in front of me what looked to be like some sort of building with doors that had, I don't know, like exploded a little bit. My design just didn't work. I've been thinking a lot about design lately, and design is everywhere. I mean, seriously, some designs are really good and others not so much. You know those sinks that you have to put your hands underneath and wait for it to sense that you're there? Yeah, I'm convinced only 1 in 5 of those actually work. Or push or pull doors. I know that I'm not the only one that has been in that situation, the super awkward situation where you push a pull door and you have like 3 people behind you waiting for you to just figure out how to operate a simple door. But the secret about design is that it's everywhere, and it impacts our life whether we know it or not. Everything from our iPhones to the chairs that we're sitting in have been carefully designed to be better than ever. But we're designers too. We design our days, our time, and what we do in a day. In fact, we are always in design mode. Now, someone else that is always in design mode is my ag teacher. Now let's talk about ag teachers for a minute. Anyone else love their ag teacher? Yeah. That's what I was hoping for. I mean, granted, a lot of them are in this room, so I'm glad to hear lots of cheering. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm convinced that my ag teacher is some sort of superhero. Get this, Kelly Becknell is a mom of 3, wife to Joe, rodeo mom, travel baseball mom, ag teacher, and we all know that's like 3 jobs in itself. And on top of all of that, she's a Beachbody trainer. Yep, you heard me right. My ag teacher is a personal trainer as well, and her 6-pack is killer. Like, she could literally take me out. Now, it wasn't always that way for Miss Becknell. And she used to always teach us little lessons in the classroom that stay with me even today. I know one time I was at a chapter officer meeting and I was talking with my teammate Megan, and Megan was asking me for some help writing some articles, and I looked at Miss Becknell and I said, Miss Becknell, I don't have time. I've got an AP biology test, I've got 3 chapter events to plan for, and I've got track practice after school, so I just don't have time. Miss Becknell looked at me and said, Lainey, you always have time. Instead of saying, I don't have time, try saying, it's not a priority to me. Miss Becknell taught me my very first lesson in design. Our priorities drive our design, kind of like a blueprint. Now, before anything is designed, it has to have a blueprint, right? Something to follow along. Our priorities are the blueprint for our life. It's important that we select those priorities carefully, making time for what's important to us and what's going to make us happy and successful. So, what are your priorities? Maybe right now that's FFA. Maybe it's school, getting good grades, figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life. But if our actions aren't aligned to our priorities, then maybe our blueprint needs a little bit of editing. For example, if we make more time for Instagram or Snapchat than we do studying for our classes or spending time with real people and real situations, then maybe our blueprint needs a little editing. Now, once those priorities are clearly aligned, we can better see where our life is going and who it'll impact. Now, a recent friend of mine has got her priorities straight, and we met in just the weirdest of places, at a random health food store in the middle of Houston, Texas. So get this, I was driving aimlessly around the streets of Houston, Texas, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was looking for something sweet, some dessert, and we don't have a Varsity Donuts in Houston, Texas, so I was out of luck. But around the corner was this white brick building with this giant mural of fruits and vegetables. So curious, I decided to stop and walk in. I walk inside, and to my left are piles of cookbooks. To my right, crates and crates of fresh food, fruits, vegetables, and it even had a little herb section. Confused, I start looking around, and the woman that owns the place walks up to me and says, "Hey, is it your first time in?" I respond, "Yeah," and she goes on to tell me about how she started the New Waters Co-op. See, Carmen Jules grew up on the poverty-stricken streets of Houston, Texas. Carmen said that in her community, there wasn't a grocery store for miles. A lot of the folks in Carmen's community couldn't afford a car, so a lot of their grocery shopping was done at local gas stations where healthy foods just were hard to come by. Carmen lived in a food desert. Carmen, passionate about making sure that the people in her community had access to healthy food, started a couple of acres, started growing fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, and opened the New Waters Co-op. And the cool thing about New Waters is that it's powered by the community for the community. Now, folks in Carmen's community have access to healthy food, access to community service, and she even invites local chefs in from the Houston area to teach her community how to cook with some of these foods and herbs that they've never seen before. Carmen made creating healthy communities her priority, and her actions showed that she was passionate about making sure that people in her community were healthy, knowledgeable, and happy. So, what are you passionate about? What's that one thing that you could talk about for hours? I know if you're anything like my friend Brooke, who I met yesterday, it's taming wild mustangs, which is kind of the coolest. Maybe it's changing your community through leadership or politics. Maybe it's through making music for people to enjoy or learn from. Maybe it's through the medicine field, health, animal science, research, technology. There are so many things that this world has to offer. What are you passionate about? What are you designing your life for? Carmen shows us that our design can serve a unique purpose, but sometimes people might not agree with our life's design. Now, have any of you ever heard of Temple Grandin? Anyone ever heard of her? Yeah. Temple Grandin, she's so cool. Temple Grandin has had quite the interesting life, and she sees the world a little bit differently. So, flashback to Temple Grandin's childhood. Her childhood was extremely difficult. She was diagnosed with autism, and she said that being on the spectrum was difficult. She said not many people were really understanding and wouldn't really get where she was coming from. At age 14, she was expelled for throwing a book at a student that had made fun of her. She said that back then, those things really hurt, but looking back, she can laugh at them now. But flash forward to her years in college, and being the smart kid totally paid off. She was excelling in her classes and found a passion for animal handling. So that passion turned into her design. So picture this. She's in her dorm room, and she's building cattle chutes in her dorm room, and she pretends to be the cow just to better feel out what it would be like for a cattle to experience the chutes. Now imagine if you're her roommate walking in on that. It's like, that's a little odd, a little off the wall. And people thought that. People thought Temple Grandin was crazy, off the wall, weird. But guys, that's the key to world-changing design. Questioning what's normal. Seeing things a little differently. Temple Grandin was a creative. So what are those things in your life that you're afraid to incorporate into your life's design because you're so worried about what someone else might say or think? Maybe you feel pressured to go to college, but you've always wanted to go right into the workforce. Maybe you're worried that people won't respect the career field that you want to go into. Maybe you're worried about the jacket you put on going to convention, or the color of your hair, or the way that you speak. Guys, I don't know much, but if there's one thing that I've learned in my very short 20 years of life, it's that it does not matter what other people have to say or think about your life's design. What matters is what your heart and your mind are passionate about. Design is never perfect, but that's the best part. We will never be perfect. Designs are always changing, just like we are. Kelly Becknell shows us that our priorities drive our design. Carmen Jules shows us that our design can and will serve a unique purpose. And Temple Grandin, she gives us the courage to pursue that design boldly, not caring what other people might have to say or think about it. Kansas FFA, you will make an impact on this world if you intentionally set out to design your life. So today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life, dare to design. Thank you.
Laney, thank you for your service to FFA members everywhere. Your dedication to our organization and agricultural education is inspiring. Your passion for our members' growth and development is clear. Your hard work and sincere nature is reflected in all that you say and do. Thank you for your words this morning and for inspiring each of us to do and achieve our best. Please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation. Something that is just as exciting as actually traveling is getting to talk about our adventures when we get back. Sharing my experiences, showing all of the pictures, and retelling some of the best stories after a long trip makes it feel that much more special. These next members have had their own adventures through their supervised agricultural experience. They have worked hard throughout the year by keeping accurate records, performing agricultural services, or even advocating for agriculture. Let's turn our attention to center stage as we recognize the first half of this year's Kansas Proficiency Awards.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Education Proficiency Award is Aaron Doherty from the Royal Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Harmon Bliss and Larry Gosen families. Aaron's SAE is Growing Third Grade, a project where she works with third grade students at Royal Valley Elementary, teaching them about agriculture and how to grow their own food. Students learn where the ingredients in their foods come from and learn to make food as well. Erin has gained teaching experience through the project and has developed personal skills that she will be able to use in the future. After graduation, Erin plans to pursue a medical degree. Erin is the daughter of Heather Doherty. Her advisor is Kim Clark. Congratulations, Erin.
The winner of this year's Proficiency Award in the area of Agricultural Mechanics Design and Fabrication is Isaiah Winmeyer from the Donovan West FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Abilene Machine. Isaiah owns and operates to custom knives and metal art. What started in his grandfather's workshop has grown into a full business due to Isaiah's skill, creativity, and management abilities. Isaiah plans to attend Southeast Community College in Milford, Nebraska to study precision machining and automation technology. Isaiah is the son of Curtis and Sarah Winmeyer. His advisor is Elmer Schmitz. Way to go, Isaiah.
Hunter McCurdy from the West Franklin FFA chapter is the winner of the Agricultural Mechanics Repair and Maintenance Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award. This award is sponsored by Can Equip. For his SAE, Hunter repairs and restores tractors. Beginning with 2 Alice Chalmers tractors that belonged to his great-grandfather, he has started working on other tractors that he can use on his family's farm. With knowledge gained from his ag mechanics classes, Hunter has become proficient in repair and maintenance and has been able to show off his projects at local fairs and tractor shows. After graduation, Hunter plans to attend Pratt Community College to study agriculture, power, and technology. Hunter is the son of Ryan and Audra McCurdy. His advisor is Tim Kilgore. Well done, Hunter.
This year's recipient of the Agricultural Mechanics Repair and Maintenance Placement Proficiency Award is Caleb Nelson from the Spring Hill FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Can Equip. Caleb works for MoCan Outdoor Power and Equipment as a floor technician. His main responsibilities include assembling equipment and performing maintenance on tractors and lawnmowers. As a quick learner, Caleb started off working with the head mechanic to learn the various duties and soon after was able to work independently on his projects. His goal is to continue learning about repair and maintenance, giving him skills he can use for the rest of his life. Caleb is the son of Peter and Jennifer Nelson. His advisor is Alicia Hampton. Congratulations, Caleb.
Denton Carrico from the Labette County FFA chapter has earned this year's Proficiency Award in the area of agricultural processing. This award is sponsored by AGP. For his SAE, Denton works for his father's leatherworking business. While he started off performing general labor, Denton's responsibilities have grown to include processes such as chemical treatment and packaging. He strives to always produce a high-quality product, some of which have been used in major film productions. After graduation, Denton plans to attend Kansas State University to pursue a degree in engineering. Denton is the son of David and Dina Carrico. His advisors are Jeff Falkenstein, Dustin Wiley, and Kyle Swallen. Let's give Denton a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Agricultural Sales Placement Proficiency Award is Clay Rolfe from the Burlington FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by the Kansas Grain Sorghum Commission. Clay works for his family's seed business, Rolfe Seed LLC, where he works with customers on seed purchases and maintaining the business's inventory. He also works as a sales associate at Orscheln Farm and Home and manages the store's feed supply. Clay has learned to develop positive working relationships with his customers and has taken the initiative to learn new skills on the job and improve his work. He hopes to take his positive mindset into his future work and education. Clay is the son of Justin and Heather Rolfe. His advisor is Julie Carden. Great job, Clay.
The winner of the Proficiency Award in the area of agricultural services is Cade Riggin from the Riverton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. Cade assists with his family's custom harvesting business, traveling across the country to finish harvests for farmers. His responsibilities have grown while working and is now a full-time operator for the business, handling equipment and a crew of workers. As he has taken on more responsibilities, Cade has learned to maintain better records and improve his customer service skills. After graduation, Cade plans to attend Pittsburgh State University to pursue a career in pharmacy. Cade is the son of Earl and Mary Riggin. His advisor is Jacob Larison. Congratulations, Cade.
Taylor Bryans from the Girard FFA chapter is this year's winner of the Agri-Science Research Integrated Systems Environmental Service Systems Natural Resource Systems Proficiency Award. This award is sponsored by Pioneer. For her SAE, Taylor researches natural resources and alternative energy sources and has conducted experiments on topics such as recycling and wind energy. After hands-on testing, Taylor collects her findings and presents them to her community. These opportunities have allowed her to partner with her high school and Newman University to learn more about the environment. In the future, Taylor plans to pursue a career that would allow her to conduct more research. Taylor is the daughter of Greg and Missy Bryans. Her advisors are Joe Curran and Brandon Calloway. Let's give Taylor a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Beef Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Ethan Dickerson from the Natoma FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Sam and Janet Hands. Ethan began his cattle operation with 3 head and has been able to expand to 28 Red Angus, 13 Black Angus, and 12 Charolais cows. He works in conjunction with his family's ranch to care for and market the cattle, and has taken on the full management responsibilities of his operation, including feeding, calving, and processing. Along with a strong sense of responsibility, Ethan has also learned financial and business management skills. After graduation, he plans to attend Kansas State University and major in agribusiness. Ethan is the son of David and Stephanie Dickerson. His advisor is Jeremy Long. Way to go, Ethan!
The recipient of this year's Proficiency Award in the area of beef production placement is Bridget Kukan from the Holton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Tiffany Cattle Company. Bridget works for her grandfather's operation, T-Bar T Angus Ranch. Her responsibilities include feeding, maintaining herd health, and assisting with the hay operation. Bridget has learned to effectively manage her time both on and off the ranch, and has learned new skills such as tractor operation and proper AI technique. After high school, Bridget plans to attend Oklahoma State University to pursue a degree in the agricultural field. Bridget is the daughter of Christopher and Tony Kukan. Her advisors are Jason Larson and Alex Bartle. Congratulations, Bridget.
Simon Schmitz from the Axtell FFA chapter has earned this year's Dairy Production Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award. This award is sponsored by the Kansas Dairy Commission. Simon's SAE consists of raising registered Holstein and Jersey cows on his family's farm and sells grade A milk, replacement heifers, breeding bulls, and cull cows. Over time, Simon has been able to grow his herd and reinvest his earnings in his family business, and has improved his business management skills. After graduation, he plans to attend Kansas State Polytechnic and study mechanical engineering technology and aviation maintenance management. Simon is the son of Joe and Amy Schmitz. His advisor is Kristen Strathman. Let's give Simon a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Diversified Agricultural Production Proficiency Award is Emily Albright from the Royal Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Triangle H. Emily works on her family's operation, Dutch Creek Farms, raising cattle and row crops, and manages her own herd of cattle. She fills many roles on the farm, from driving the grain cart to assisting with calving and working cattle. Emily has been able to take the skills learned from her family operation and apply them to her own herd, and has taken a larger role in the farming operation. After graduation, Emily plans to work towards a career in the animal science industry. Emily is the daughter of Scott and Barbara Albright. Her advisor is Kim Clark. Well done, Emily.
The Proficiency Award in Diversified Crop Production Placement goes to Hallie Wetstein from the Hugoton FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Kansas Corn. Hallie works on her family's corn, wheat, and grain sorghum farm. Over the years, she has taken on many responsibilities, from operating the machinery to managing the farm office. Hallie has learned how to effectively communicate while on the job, and in turn has helped improve advertising and grow the farm's client base. After high school, Hallie plans to attend Kansas State University to study agricultural education and animal science. Hallie is the daughter of Rustin and Ashley Wetstein. Her advisor is Les McNally. Way to go, Hallie.
This year's winner of the Diversified Horticulture Proficiency Award is Mary Brocksterman from the Royal Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Hummer International. For her SAE, Mary manages her school's greenhouse. Mary originally helped her brother with his greenhouse duties, but continued to take horticulture classes so she could take a more active role. Her responsibilities now include watering, monitoring plant health, and assisting with the annual plant sale, which have taught her attention to detail and time management. After graduation, Mary plans to attend Cloud County Community College to pursue a degree in elementary education. Mary is the daughter of Stephen and Cynthia Brocksterman. Her advisor is Kim Clark. Congratulations, Mary.
Rebecca Johnson from the Hugoton FFA chapter has earned this year's Proficiency Award in the area of diversified livestock production. This award is sponsored by JC Livestock, Clay Center Livestock, and the Langbart families. Rebecca manages a herd of Shorthorn and Angus cattle, a flock of laying hens, and a herd of goats. Influenced by her family's love of animals, she has taken on the responsibilities of managing her operation, including feeding, caring for, and marketing the products of her animals. These jobs have broadened her understanding of agriculture and fostered a love of service to others. After high school, Rebecca plans to attend Iowa State University to obtain a degree in plant science or agronomy. Rebecca is the daughter of Matthew and Nancy Johnson. Her advisor is Les McNally. Let's give Rebecca a round of applause.
This year's winner of the Equine Science Entrepreneurship Proficiency Award is Brooke Staten from the Blue Valley FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by Doug and Jana Zillinger. Brooke operates a pony ride business, partnering with a local family farm and pumpkin patch in the fall. She also operates a boarding business where she tends to clients' horses and also offers training and riding lessons. Owning her own business has taught Brooke valuable business management and public relations skills, as well as networking opportunities for the future. After graduation, Brooke plans to attend college to study rangeland management and the equine industry. Brooke is the daughter of Tony and Justine Staten. Her advisor is Anthony Meals. Congratulations, Brooke.
The recipient of this year's Proficiency Award in Equine Science Placement is Lauren Gertzen from the Buhler FFA chapter. This award is sponsored by United Mosquito and Fly Control. Working on her family farm, Lauren cares for and trains her family's horses and also competes in barrel races. While initially responsible for basic care and feeding of the horses, she is now in charge of training, evaluation, and farm maintenance. After her time in the FFA, Lauren hopes to train competitive barrel horses and help others learn to ride and share her passion for the equine industry. Lauren is the daughter of Stuart and Carla Gertzen. Her advisors are John Clark, Michelle Gosen, Cody McReynolds, and Bailey Siemens. Way to go, Lauren.
These members have shown us what it means to honor agricultural opportunities through their supervised agricultural experiences. They have put in the time and sowed the seeds of success, some literally, others figuratively. Members and supporters of the Kansas FFA Association should be proud of their great accomplishments. Each of these Proficiency Award winners will represent Kansas this fall at the 92nd National FFA Convention and Expo. Please join me in congratulating all of our winners and their efforts.
Just one chance, just one moment, change the course, it's time we show it. Just one step, just one choice, can make the way, let's raise our voice.
The second session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention has been the trip of a lifetime. Thank you for joining me as we learned about the great success and support we have for agriculture and FFA here in Kansas. The drive and grit our members have to improve and learn is outstanding. To help guide us to end, I call upon Kansas FFA President Max Harmon to assume the duties of the chair.
Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. The Northeast District officers will be hosting an ice cream social for all Northeast District FFA members and advisors on the lawn north of McCain right after Session 3. Discussion meet finals will be taking place in the K-State Student Union Big 12 room at 10 a.m., followed by extemporaneous public speaking finals which start at 11 a.m. Prepared public speaking finals will also be in the K-State Student Union Big 12 room starting at 12 o'clock noon. Make sure to head over to the Leadership Studies building to check out the SAE Fair where this morning's Proficiency Award winners will be showcasing their supervised agricultural experiences. The third session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention will start at 2 p.m. We will recognize the second half of our Proficiency Award winners honor the sponsors who make this convention possible, present awards to the chapters and individuals who have excelled in the scrapbook competition, Employability Skills CDE, and Growing Leaders portion of the National Chapter Award. Presidential Career and Technical Education Scholars will be recognized, as well as those receiving FFA scholarships. Last but not least, we will have the chance to hear from the 2018-2019 National FFA President Luke O'Leary, as well as your 2018-2019 Kansas FFA reporter Miranda Deppenbush in the delivery of her retiring address.
Thank you. Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this session? We are about to adjourn this session of the 91st Kansas FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and, above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this session adjourned.
I was toting my pack along the dusty Winnemucca Road when along came a semi with a high and canvas covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, if you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me,
gets up before the dawn, packs a lunch and a thermos full of coffee. It's another day in the dusty haze, those burning rays are wearing